Hello friend, this is me, your host. Welcome back to our channel. I hope you all are well and doing great. So today I am back with another video with another book to give a review on. This book is Out of Control. This is by Sally Jenkins. A friend to lovers, later in life, second chance, opposites attract. All about this in a single book. The last day of her old world. The ducks Fiona had carefully placed in a row over the past 3 decades now needed judicious rearranging. Just over 3 months ago, immediately after her 60th birthday, she would have had yet another retirement planning meeting with her financial advisor. He would have given her the green light to hand in her notice and start accessing her pensions, pots and savings. Monte Carlo analysis of your funds show no risk of you running out of money. Before you are 90. Frederick had explained, even if we have another stock market crash like in 2008 or 2020, as a single woman with only herself to rely on for possibility the next 30 years, she had to be certain that retirement 7 years before her state pension kicked in was financially viable. Even if that happens and you have substantial assets in cash which won't be directly affected by a crash. He paused. Together over the years, we have made sure you have got a good spread of investments. Fiona had nodded. She had tracked her finances as closely as any of the IT projects. She had managed. She and Rob had come out of the divorce. And subsequent house sale with very little, and she would panic about building from a standing start and having enough to retire. That was why she would become a client of Chingworth Wealth Management Consultants and Frederick in particular, even though at that point she would have had no wealth to manage. Frederick had joined the firm on the very day she had plucked up the courage to trust a professional with her money. He would immediately understood that money, trust, and men weren't easy bedfellows for Fiona, and always took care to give her absolute clarity and full involvement in what was going on and what fees she was being charged. Her phone buzzed and flashed up the warden's name from her mother's sheltered housing complex. Oh, Fiona, I'm glad I have caught you. I know it isn't your usual day for visiting, but could you pop in and see your mom? I just did my morning check on all the residents, and she sounded down in the dumps. You know how she gets sometimes lonely like everyone else here. I don't know why they find it so hard to confide in each other. When I asked her what the problem was, she said something about not knowing what was happening at Christmas. Fiona sighed as the date of her retirement had got closer. Knowing what was happening at Christmas. Fiona sighed as the date of her retirement had got closer. These last minute requests from her mum via the complex manager had become more frequent. It was as though the old lady wanted to lay claim to a significant part of her daughter's retirement. Fiona didn't mind visiting, but she liked to do it according to the timetable they had agreed. And Saturday wasn't her day. Before Joe had turned up, and Saturday wasn't her day. Before Joe had turned up, today had been earmarked for trying out a new pilot's class and then a sport of Christmas shopping. Joe and the breakfast and the job of washing up last night's dinner stuff, a task which he had ignored. Meant she was running too late for the class and her day had become annoyingly skewed before it had started. Do you think a phone call would do the trick? Do you think a phone call would do the trick? That would only take 10 minutes out of the already spoiled day. There was a hesitation before Mrs. Fairchild replied. No, I think she was up really early baking, and she mentioned having a delicious sponge cake all ready and waiting. He silenced her. With a look before she could explain, it was easier and quicker to go on her own. Fiona wasn't into girly shopping trips. Perhaps she would have been if Amber. Adley kept her head down over the shredded wheat. The tender relationship between father and daughter from last night had dissipated. Joe stumbled on with his one-sided conversation. Two women sharing a kitchen can be difficult. So I was thinking spending some time together and deciding on what food we need. It might break the ice, help you understand one another. It would be easier for me to do the food shopping on my own. Fiona finished the sentence Joe had tried to silence. Adley was swiping at her phone with her left hand, the right one still being in charge of a spoon that was tipping slightly and in danger of dumping its soggy load on the tabletop. Adley Joe spoke sharply. Watch what you are doing. His daughter threw him a look. A look of annoyance. Fiona wasn't the only one struggling in this mismatched household. Fiona wasn't the only one struggling in this mismatched household. Agnes was used to the autonomy of her life at uni. Joe had regressed to being dad and dictating her behavior. Which in turn was making Adelaide regress to being an awkward teenager again. Fiona felt for this girl, caught somewhere between the child and adult world, and on the cusp of becoming a mother herself. And without her own mom to help smooth things along, the food shopping would be better done on her own. But maybe it would help the bigger picture if she was more flexible on this point, albeit in a controlled way. She backpedaled just a little bit. We need to compromise and become a team in order to make this situation work. Treat it like an IT project and everything will be okay. The supermarket's a good idea. I don't know what food you like, Adley. But when I was, she closed her mouth quickly, discovered an old tissue in the tiny key pocket of her leggings, and blew her nose. She kept the crumpled scrap over her face for long. For longer than necessary, while she recomposed herself after almost revealing the secret of Amber. There is no rush. Take your time, have a shower, and then we will go for a mooch. There is no harm in finding out if we have got the same taste in food. She stopped in the kitchen doorway. Adley was at the sink, washing up. The kitchen table and all the surfaces were clear and damp. The kitchen table and all the surfaces were clear and damp. Indicating they had recently been wiped down. Wow, this is great. Thank you. This is great. I felt bad about the other morning, and Dad said. Adley halted, as though realizing any words might make her look less than willing. It doesn't matter whose idea it was. You have done the job. It didn't matter, this hadn't been Adelaide's idea. But Fiona remembered something Miko had once told her along the lines of, if we create an atmosphere of acceptance, gratitude, and welcome to others, then they are more likely to follow our example and treat us that way in return. Stepping further into the kitchen, it was obvious the surface Adelaide's hand. Scooped up the jam and handed the cloth back. Sorry, I just didn't want that to get trodden out of here and into the whole carpet. Adelaide frowned and then turned back to the sink without squeaking. Fiona pursed her lips. She had done the wrong thing, but anyone else would have acted the same. And she was still going to have to sneak back later and clear up all. Clear up all the crumbs now lurking in half sight. I will dry for you. She picked up a tea towel. This way she could ensure that everything had been washed properly. Afterwards, shall we dot the I's and cross the T's of the baby shower? What do you think? A paper list or a spreadsheet? It's a group of friends, not a military exercise. Do I get one? Absolutely. In that case, I want them to be surprised. And a mischievous grin settled on Adelaide's lips. we get to sit on Santa's knee? Fiona waved the comment away. She was starting to learn when Adley was winding her up. Fiona waved the comment away. She was starting to learn when Adley was winding her up. Ah, I almost forget. Does Santa need a grotto? Or can he just walk around the room with his sack? A grotto? Definitely. Adley's eyes lit up like a child's. Fiona kicked herself. She had just increased her work by a multiple of 10. How do you create a grotto in a 3-bedroomed, semi-detached house? She turned the page in her notebook, wrote the heading grotto, and underlined it 3 times. Feeling better? Miko asked. That was quite an experience. Fiona took some breaths and nodded. Especially for Adley, she was so brave. It happened so quickly. They sat in silence, waiting. Fiona tried calling Joe again and left another voice message. She watched the midnight minute break over into the next day. Happy Christmas, Miko. She turned her face towards his and wondered what it would be like to be kissed properly by those lips. Happy Christmas, Fiona. He moved in his seat and she thought he was going to hug her like he had often done before. A hug that was platonic on his part, but which generated glorious, unrequited tingles within her. Try again in a while. I think baby is just as tired as you are. The midwife turned to Miko and Fiona. Well done, Granny and Granddad. The nurse beamed at them. You did a good job with the home birth. We are not relations, Fiona said immediately. Oh, the midwife glanced questioningly at Adric. As though asking whether she wanted them to be there. Adley nodded. I will leave you to it then. Miko tactfully kept his eyes averted from Adley's first attempts at feeding the baby. Adley's first attempt at feeding the baby until Fiona indicated that she was covered up and decent again. She is gorgeous, Adley. You should be so proud. That's really lovely thing to say. Adley paused for a couple of seconds before adding, "Grand." Dorothy's eyes opened wide, and a huge smile made her look like the young woman that Fiona remembered from her childhood. Fiona wanted to hug the tableau in front of her and never let it go. Her mother nursing her great-granddaughter by proxy, whose startling screams were now replaced by gentle snuffles, and the baby's mother, who was staring at the old lady in wonder. As though she had woven a magic spell to calm and quieten the infant. But she also wanted to wait in and urge her mom to be cautious with her feelings, because these were not blood relatives and liable to slip away like sand through an egg timer. Thank goodness for that. Joe picked up the TV remote. Fiona took it from him. No, let's just enjoy some quiet time. Adley indicated that she was going to bed for a little while. The three adults sat in silence until it became obvious that Natalie was sleeping the sleep of exhausted. Shall I transfer her to the car seat? Fiona asked, to give you a break. No, let's not take the risk of disturbing her. And like I said, it's really nice having the heart of another living thing feeling so close to my own. No, I think. Then she looked pointedly at Joe. A cup of tea would be nice right now. Dorothea spoke in an urgent whisper as soon as Joe was out of the room. Have you spoken to Miko? No, I think she might as well as be honest, since their estrangement now seemed permanent. I think I have done something to upset him, but I don't know what. Came round on Boxing Day with a present. Well, I think the chocolates were just an excuse. Had forgotten to remove a gift tag addressed to him that was hidden. In the folds of the wrapping paper, so he was re-gifting, and really he wanted to talk about you. Dorothea paused, as if for dramatic effect. I think he's available to you anyway, and please trust him with your history. He's a good man. Fiona turned on her laptop, created a new folder called Project Miko, and within that, a spreadsheet. Focusing on a concrete task offered a blissful release from somersaulting over the romantic relationship problem. She needed a list of required steps to get her best friend where he wanted to be with his career. Fiona to talk to Frank, hotel layer club manager. She typed on row 1, but Miko had already pleaded his case. What good would an outsider like Fiona do turning up and telling this Frank how to run his hotel? She needed a legitimate interest in what classes were available, and her friendship with Miko shouldn't be obvious to Frank. Otherwise, she would be ignored and Miko might be branded a troublemaker. So this is all we have for this book. I hope you guys liked it. If you did, don't forget to press the like button. So I'll be back with another video. Till then, just take care and goodbye.